Good evening to everyone. I am Jyoti.
I'm Rajshekar.
Hi, my name is Nikhil.
Hi, my name is Ramya.
I am giving presentation on USB. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. So everyone knows, I think, everyone, we are not everyone, but mostly people are using USB device like wires, connectors, USB ports, and flash drives. Flash drives means pen drives. So USB the most successful interface in the history of PC. In the past, connecting multiple peripheral devices or connecting to the computer has been a real problem. The ability to share data transfer from one computer to another computer or one computer to digital cameras like that. So this is the use for USB works like storage device, data storage device. USB provides an expandable, it allows high speed when plugged in everything, automatically it works. Next, a computer peripheral interface. So, a computer peripheral interface, peripheral device means electronic device connected by the cable into the CPU by with computer. So it USB also it works like peripheral devices because here USB works and USB enables high speed working with communication between cable and PCs like that. And next one, implemented to provide a replacement for legacy ports. Legacy ports means serial ports. Before we were using in USB before serial ports, data cables like that. So here implement to provide a replacement to legacy ports to make the addition of peripheral device quick and easy for the use and the end user. So the main reason that the USB was implemented to the provide replacement for these legacy ports like serial ports, peripheral ports like that on a computers to more the additional of the peripheral devices into the quick and use the easier to use with the computers. And next one, the USB is the most successful interconnect to the history of personal computing and has migrated to consume electronics and mobile uses. Before I told USB means USB device, USB wires, USB connectors, flash drives. We are using in digital cameras to using USB ports and USB wires. Here, so USB is the most successful because the consumers electronics and mobile products. And next. Before I told legacy ports like serial ports and and that one is the parallel ports. This is the legal ports. And history of the USB. In olden days, mic and keyboards were only connected to dedicated connectors or serial ports. Before we were using in USB. Before we are using serial port. Serial port only we are connecting to the only keyboards and dedicated connectors only mice. But here we are using in USB total computer system. We are using in USB to connect to the data storage. And next one is the USB. Before the development of USB begin in 1994. It's developed in Intel. It's working the it's developed by the Ajay Bhatta. Next we are using USB 1 in January 1996. It's the data storage rates by the 1.5 megabits. Next in USB 1.1 in September 1998, first widely used version of the USB, that is the main specific the USB point. And next one is the USB 2 point. It's gonna the fastest and data rates also 12 megabytes. Here I am told. it has released in 1998. It allowed for the 12 megabits. Intel lands initiate to the USB in 2000. It's a major future revision was the addition of the high-speed transfer for the 480 megabits, and low bandwidth is the 1.5 megabits. And yeah, these are USB devices. This is the USB voice we are using in digital camera to. This is the type of a USB port, and we are connecting to the this port into the camera, and this port we are connecting into the computer system. This is the USB wires, and this is the USB cables. We are everyone know computers having the USB cables. This is the pen drive. Those are wires.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the present technology that we are using in USB, that is USB 2.0. Firstly, I would like to tell about like difference between USB 1 and USB 2. USB 1 almost uses the same Pentium 4 processors, both of them. These are the chipsets of USB 1, and this is USB 2. And most of the difference is that in USB 1 we have sorry. In USB 1 we have both DDR SSN RAMs, which supports like 200 megahertz, and in USB 2 it is 266 megahertz DDR. And in USB 1 the LAN we used like APX 4x video slots. We had even USB 2 also, and the extra feature that we have in USB 2 is the integrated graphics, the 3D graphics. We have it. You can use that to tell like the system, so that the videos and the photos that we send to the from the laptops or the cameras or anything to the systems, we use this feature in USB 2. And some of the features of USB is that it is a standard. It was released in April 2002 as an update of USB 1.1, and it allows much higher speed than the USB 1. USB 1 has a speed of 12 Mbps, that is equivalent to 12 megabits per second, that is equivalent to 1.5 megabytes of memory that is sent, that can be transferred in USB 1.1. But in USB 2.0 it's 480 megabits per second. It's almost around 60 megabytes of power, so 60 MB of data transfer can be done in USB 2.0. And it increases the productivity of user applications, and also to run the multiple PC applications. Like we can use this USB to run the printer at the same time and use the USB flash drive or USB hard drives. We use it. We can use several things at the same time. And it also supports low bandwidth devices. As I told you, like the keyboards or anything, but also as the high bandwidth ones like webcams, scanners, printers, and high capacity storages. And the transmission speed also facilitates the development of next generation PCs. Like almost all the PCs now which we have, the high processor ones, like the Intel i3 processor or i5 or i7s. Apart from that, the Mac, Linux, and everything, all of them support USB 2.0. And USB 2.0 increases the productivity of user applications and used to run multiple PC applications at once at a time. And this is the typical performance of the different ports. Apart from the serial ports or the anything, this is the USB port, has the most maximum speed, and the pins connected to it is 4 pins. Apart from the standard parallel port that we had at the way back with 25 pins, it was like this much big. and everything. And that's it from my part, and the advantages and disadvantages will be done by Nikhil.
Hi friends, I am here to present the advantages and disadvantages of the flash drive. I think everyone uses a pen drive and everyone has it in their pocket, so it is very portable and it is easy to carry. And the next thing is it's comfort. And when we come to the comfort, it is convenient and it is used in all PCs, in the modern PCs when compared to the old PCs. Each modern PC has a USB slot and the storage. This is better when compared to the CDs and the DVDs which we are having, and it has a high speed of transfer. When we write a CD, it takes a longer time. When we transfer a data from a computer to the pen drive, it takes much less time. It's a time consumption. And the flash drive implements the USB mass storage device class, so that most of the modern operating systems can read and write them without installing the device drivers. So we know that we can plug in the USB directly to the slot without having any software or driver software, and this is very convenient to us. And there are some disadvantages. And some disadvantages are this cannot be used by the Windows 95 and other like Linux and some operating systems. So this is only for the new modern operating systems. And when we compare to the external hard drive, this is the cheapest when compared to the external hard drive. And when we compare to the size of this USB, the USB size is maximum up to 16 GB, which is one of the disadvantages when we compare to the external hard drives. And the USB is not write protective, so there are some problems with this. The USB flash drive do not include a write protective mechanism, although some have a switch on the housing of the drive itself to keep the host computer. Write protective makes a device suitable for repairing virus-contaminated host computers with risk of infection and USB flash drive itself. So there would be less risk if we have write protective USB drives with less virus and contamination. And the next.
Next, I'm going to continue with the future trend, that is USB 3.0, and this USB 3.0 promoter group announced on 17th of November 2008, and it was first certified by the Consumer Products, and which was announced by the two motherboards, and also it was called as Super Speed USB. And this super speed USB can be connected to your PCs, consumer electronics, and also to the mobile architectures. And some of the features of it is fast than the USB 2.0, and also bidirectional, low cost, dynamically attachable interface that is consistent with the requirements of the PC platform. And this 3.0 can work at 4.8 gigabytes per second, which is 10 times as faster than the current trend, that is the USB 2.0, which is a high speed. And also sorry. And the main differences between these super speed and high speed can be mentioned as the power conservation features. You can, because the high-speed 2.0 can consume time with the receiving or transmitting the transferring the data from your PC or any laptops or anything, and also it minimizes the user's wait time. And one more, and next, coming to the operating systems, only the Linux can support the USB 3.0, while the other Windows and Mac does not, because this Linux supports more hardwares than any other operating systems. And also, coming to the applications, it has high resolution webcams and multi-channel audio interfaces, and digital video cameras with USB interface, and also external hard drives and external media with Blu-ray devices. And this is the new super speed, which you can see. This is USB 2.0, and you can see the difference between both of them, which have an additional physical bus, which is parallel to this 2.0, and which is the future trend. But it was just announced, but I think only the Linux may support, and the other operating systems like Intel may support are under development. It may take 1 year to develop the 3.0 super speed. You can see the features, few more features of this 3.0 in this video, which I could not mention in this PowerPoint.
I think everybody by this point has heard of USB, Universal Serial Bus. It's a connection method between your computer and peripherals like your digital camera, your printer, and all of that. Jeff right here has just blown my mind, because I'm used to USB 2.0 as the standard, and he's just told me USB 3 is right here and with us. It's walking among us. Tell me a bit more about this, Jeff.
Okay. Well, Super Speed USB, which is the brand and marketing name for USB 3.0, this is a 10x performance increase over high-speed USB today. And just to frame that for you, today if you wanted to download a 27 gigabyte HD movie from your desktop to your notebook to take on the plane to come to CES, that would take you 15 minutes with high-speed USB today.
Interminable.
Yeah, that's a lifetime. With Super Speed USB end-to-end, you can do that same transaction in 60 to 70 seconds. It's phenomenal.
How does this work? How do you get it that fast?
Well, there are a lot of things that basically help us do it. But we basically have two dedicated transmit and receive lines, which we didn't have with high-speed USB. So we eliminated the turnaround, and they can operate simultaneously. So we have 5 gigabit per second transmit one way and 5 gigabit per second receive the other way, and they can operate simultaneously.
I can see the moms and pops over there that are sort of glazing over. So tell me what the practical use for this is besides movies, so for people that don't want movies.
Well, again, movies, downloading your pictures from your camera, trying to make a transaction from a flash drive to your PC or to another device. So excellent performance. We found that consumers, after about a minute to a minute and a half, get extremely frustrated and may actually terminate the transaction because they think it's broke. So they really are looking for this type of speed capability for their transactions. And wherever you use USB today, you'll be able to use Super Speed USB in the future. Backward compatible, optimized power efficiency, 10x performance increase.
Okay, so you say backwards compatible. Does it use the same cable as before?
It has a new cable, but the connectors, the A connector is the same for your PC, and we have a new standard B connector that plugs into, it will support, we have a receptacle that'll support a standard B connector, and we have two new micro A, B, and AB connectors.
So when can people theoretically get their hands on these new products?
Well, you'll actually see end products enter the market in early 2010.
Perfect. So stay tuned. Get your movies. just that much time, not much time at all.
The main difference he explained is that it has the high-speed USB has 4 connections, that means 4 wires, and this this super speed USB has extra 4 wires, which can which is bidirectional, which we can transmit and receive the data at the same time, and which we cannot do that in the high-speed USB. That's the main advantage and the difference.
You made our heads do like this. Where is the microphone? Anybody needs a microphone for any question? Yes, Todd?
On the USB 3, I actually have an ASRock Extreme 3 H70 that does support USB 3. It's one of the first main boards that has it. Windows 7 does support USB 3, but it's not a native support. So basically, you have to, when you install a device that uses the USB 3, you have to install the drivers, and then it'll work. But it doesn't have a built-in support. They're talking about doing it in future expansions and service packs, but it actually does work. I don't have any USB 3 devices. I don't even know if they sell them commercially yet.
Yesterday I was at Best Buy, and they have USB 3 and external hard drive. That was my first time to see it.
Right.
Yesterday.
But yeah, my new main board has it, but it's, like I said, it actually will accept the USB 2, like he was saying, but the devices that it plugs into has a much larger form factor for the plug. But that was really it. It wasn't really a question.
That's very good. Any answer here? Can you rephrase the question?
It was just a comment.
That's a comment. Very good. Okay. Thank you. More questions or comments? Just raise your hand. Get a mic. Very good. So, thank you.
Everything automatically it works. Next, a computer peripheral interface. So a computer peripheral device means electronic device connected by the cable into the CPU with computer. So USB also it works like peripheral devices, because here USB works. And USB enables high-speed working with communication between cable and PCs, like that. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. So everyone knows, I think, not everyone, but mostly people are using USB devices like wires, connectors, USB ports, and flash drives. Flash drives means pen drives. So USB the most successful interface in the history of PC. In the past, connecting multiple Good evening to everyone. I am Jyoti.
I'm Rajshekar.
Hi, my name is Nikhil.
Hi, my name is Ramya.
I am giving presentation on US, and next one, implemented to provide a replacement for legacy ports. Legacy ports means serial ports. Before we were using in USB before serial ports, data cables like that. So here implement to provide a replacement to legacy ports to make the addition of peripheral device quick and easy for the use and the end user. So the main reason that the USB was implemented to the provide replacement for these legacy peripheral devices are connecting to the computer has been a real problem. The ability to share data transfer from one computer to another computer or one computer to digital cameras like that. So this is the use for USB works like storage device, data storage device. USB provides an expandable, it allows high speed when plugged in